क्या क्यों करने वाला यार, ऐसा मत कर। नहीं, कुछ आइडिया दे दे ताकि मतलब थोड़ा वो कर लूँ। ओके ओके, ठीक है ठीक है। हाँ बस मतलब वही कि कुछ से समथिंग फनी और स्मार्ट। Would this Argentinian jersey be called, what would it be called? Royal blue? No. No, Argentina. Argentina are in blue, but yeah, I mean it's a nice shade of blue, so I want to describe it. What would it be called? Navy blue? No, navy blue के लिए भी बहुत light है. Royal blue. Royal blue. हाँ तो dark ही है. वो उसका तो blue hardly है ही नहीं. It's mostly white. Royal or navy? Navy, no.
See, it's like this color.
Yeah, exactly. Copy that. Will you be taking the points table? Points table. Great, great. Okay. It's match 14 of the Hero Junior World Cup. It's a Pool B encounter between Argentina and France coming from the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi. And why this game is so important is because in the first game of the day, Australia have done themselves a huge favor by beating Spain 2-0. That's allowed them to pull away not only in terms of points but also in terms of goal difference. So in all respects, an important game for both teams and in particular for Argentina. No shortage of support for the Argentinians. That's always been the case in the short span of the Hero Junior World Cup thus far, and today is no exception. I'm Divine Sen, and in the commentary box alongside me is former Indian coach Cedric D'Souza.
Well, a very important game for actually both teams. If France wins this game, they automatically go into the quarterfinals. Well, as Argentina if they want to get into the quarters, they have to win this match at any cost. They have a dangerous flicker in Pelat and Ibarros. The question is what are they going to do against the French?
Let's stand by first for the national anthems in this Battle of the Blues between France and Argentina, beginning with the national anthem of Argentina. France showed a lot of character in their opening encounter against Spain. Came back on a couple of occasions in that match from 0-1 down and then 1-2 down to win it 4-3. And in contrast, Argentina had to pay for 3 minutes of madness, really, where they conceded 3 goals against Australia inside 3 minutes. And eventually 3 was the margin of defeat against the Australians, 5-2. They'll want to avoid those kinds of mistakes.
Well, I think, they've done their homework today against the French, because they know they have to go for a victory at any cost. They can't have that the looseness they did against Australia in the defense.
Let's tell you about the teams that are lining up for this particular match. For Argentina, watch out for their number 2, Gonzalo Pela, one of the best drag flick specialists in this particular tournament. He got a goal up against Australia, as did number 7, Coelho, who's also quite a handful and should be an interesting prospect. Sacchetti, number 15, down the right wing, is also a constant threat. They are coached by Carlos Genero, 2-time Olympian, 1988 and 1992. Also played the 1990 World Cup. All statistics about him, which were supplied by Cedric to my right in the commentary box. Against them, France, who were quite outstanding against Spain. A lot of poise, a lot of gumption showed in that match. 2 goals in that particular game for Martin Brissac, number 8. And there was 1 goal for Justine, number 7. And also 1 for Peter van Straten, number 4. And they are coached by Gail Polar, who is also the assistant coach of the national team, the senior national team. In fact, they've come in with the support staff, which pretty much shares duties with the national side. So building up towards the future. One of the umpires, Eric Kim Lai Ko from Malaysia. And he is joined today by Paul Walker from England. All of the officiating has been quite outstanding, to be honest, right through this Hero Hockey Junior World Cup. And this should make for a fascinating prospect. A match between the royal blue of the usual Albiceleste, Argentina, up against France playing in white. It's France who get things moving, going from right to left in white. And up against them in blue are Argentina. A must-win encounter in all respects for Argentina. If they do lose here, then they're definitely out of quarter-final reckoning. And from that perspective, one would think that this will be an interesting match, Cedric, for the unaffiliated, because it's a great game for the neutral.
Well, if you just look at the first 20 seconds where France had the ball, the RGs had already put a press on them quickly. So it looks like they're coming to to do a full court press. And to give it everything in this match, because they know how important it is to have a victory.
Some good hustling by Federico Fernandez Onega, wins a free hit for his team. They had some lively moments early on against Australia, but as we mentioned, it was just those 3 minutes inside the first half, between minutes 14 and minute 17, when they conceded 3 goals and just gave the initiative away. And from then on, it was an uphill task for them. They are up against a very, very organized and disciplined French unit. Not so long ago, were runners-up in the European Junior Championship as well. And that organization quite obvious in the early moments, Cedric?
Well, if you look at it, I'm just talking about the organization of the French in terms of the deep defense, as well as the passion and the drive that the RGs are doing. They want to just put a lot of pressure on them, and they've got to be careful of France on the break.
Able to keep this one in play was Brissac Martin. Outstanding game for Brissac against the Spaniards with 2 goals. They had a slight weakness in that match, which was exploited by Spain, though. They conceded 2 goals to penalty corners. That's something which will give Argentina a lot of hope, especially with somebody like Gonzalo Pela on their ranks. Cedric, one would think with a game of this importance, now getting into the business end of the competition, might be a slightly cautious start from both teams. Would want to keep as compact a defense as possible.
I think apart from defense, they got to see which team is going to have possession in the enemy quarter, in the enemy 50. That's the important thing to see, to translate that possession into goals or shots at goal.
This is looking promising for Argentina. It's a reverse hit, but it's just wide, squatted wide by Sacchetti.
Well, if you just look at that movement what happens here is that you find that the Argentine players, they just got two in front. There's no support from the midfield at all. It was a great try of Sacchetti, but ball was way out.
Yes, and a good steal in midfield by Pesado Perez as well, another useful player in the ranks. They've also got number 7 who's just come into the picture, just watching the ball go past him. Coelho, who's quite a danger man, as Australia found out. Effectively just the 3rd day of competition, but we've already had a glut of goals into the 14th match. 71 goals already. So averaging more than 5 goals per game. Healthy at any level of competition. Could we see the 72nd here? Running forward, coming through. Does win a free hit for his team. Nicely done by Van Straten.
Great run by Van Straten, and you know, his stick was hooked by Ibarra.
They're claiming it, but that hasn't touched anything, and in the end, the smile says it all. Nothing at all.
No touch at all on the ball. Just hopeful.
Coach Pollard would have been happy with that positive move from his team. On the whole, Argentina have made the slightly brighter start, especially in terms of moving forward. This man has been at the center of a lot of those things, Sacchetti. Argentina as a team have been steadily improving so much in recent years. There was one stage when perhaps the Pan American Games were the best that they could hope for, but of late, the performances even at senior level have been considerably improved.
Well, they've already won the Junior World Cup once, and they've come into the final also a second time. So they have some pedigree in terms of their the quality of play.
This is nicely retained possession of. Moving forward, looking to get it back. Lucas Martinez was the man on that occasion. Sent in by Fernandez. Still might fall for Martinez. It's nicely saved. Argentina in the initial moments definitely having a lot more of the possession and looking to make the most of it every time they get some moves going. This time coming off the foot of Lucas Martinez, and that'll give a reprieve for the Frenchman. This was the previous attempt from Martinez.
There was no power in that hit, and so the goalkeeper had no problem in trying to deflect that ball away.
Finding themselves in good positions though, and that's where the French defense will need to be a little bit tighter, perhaps, one would think. That man again, Sacchetti, getting into a good position but dispossessed. Resolute defending. Clash of sticks, but the ball emerges with French possession. Can they make the most of it now? Geneste driving it through for Van Straten. Not too many white shirts around him, that's why forced to go all the way back. Smacked in a couple of players who were in good positions.
You look at the French, they have about 4 or 5 people in the circle when that long ball comes in from the 25-yard line. They're just putting a lot of pressure on the Argentine defense from the chances that they get.
Long pass coming in from Baumgarten. Unfortunately, not able to find any of his teammates. It's Argentina on the attack, but eventually Fernandez forced to go back. Good byplay between some of the Argentinian players, almost finding a way through. But wide awake was Peters Dudes for France in defense. So as expected, slightly cautious start to begin with from both teams, but there have been a few gilt-edged opportunities, perhaps not clear-cut chances.
I think Argentina has seen more of the ball in terms of the chances into the circle, and but it's just early. It's very early in the game. You never know what's going to happen. There's plenty of time.
Indeed, in a lot of these matches, we've already seen against the run of plays, teams do tend to score goals, and that's what nearly happened there. Good run incoming from Théophile Pontiou.
Beautiful clearance from deep defense under pressure.
Yes, and now a chance for Argentina if Martinez can pull away from his man. Charlet does well to win his team some time. Isidro Carlos Ibarra, the man with the number 10 jersey, was looking to create some magic. This time dispossessing the Frenchman, but only goes out. And this time it will be deemed a foul. That's beautifully received by Lautaro Diaz. Argentina unable to make the most of it, but early moments here, Cedric. Good positive play from Argentina.
Well, a nice looping aerial ball into the Argentine 25. But again, this defender, centre back from France, doing a great job.
Great discipline about the way that France have been going. Lots of patience as well. Focusing more on defense to begin with.
Well, Charlotte Victor so far has done a great job for France in the defense there. He's a sweeper and is probably 1 meter 65, 1 meter 70, which is a tall bloke.
Listen, height advantage is such a crucial factor considering these are all players just about 21 and under. That makes for a big crucial edge for you. Now this is Sacchetti, always a threat inside the opponent's box. This time unable to make the most of the position he had.
But he couldn't do anything because there was a lot of sticks down, flat sticks down, and he tried to weave his way through and look for the tomahawk, but he couldn't get a chance to take a shot goal because of the French defense.
And this time it's the Frenchman looking to move forward. It's Martin Brissac who's in a very good position, but great bit of goalkeeping as well. Tomas Santiago, who had a good game, even though his team did lose quite badly against Australia. No shortage of support, of course, for the Albi Celeste. Not in their distinctive blue and white today, but it is a soothing color, this royal blue, one would think.
Argentina is playing a nice game because they're switching the game from right to the left and left to right, vice versa, and looking for the long balls down the channels, which is nice because they're going to spread the defense the French defense. France playing its compact game, pushing up a lot of midfielders and supporting the attack.
As into the 14th minute of this match, one thing is clear: it will either need a significant moment of inspiration or perhaps a mistake from either side to unlock this, because both teams are quite disciplined in terms of their defensive duties and are moving forward with a lot of caution too.
Well said, Divine. That was perfectly what you got the words out of my mouth.
Perhaps that inspiration could come from the number 7, Coelho. Really does look like a good player. Possession now with the Frenchman. Can they move forward with purpose? Has happened on a few occasions. This time looking for the tall figure of Poisner. Peter van Straten has been a very, very important link-up player for the Frenchman. Wins a lot of balls in midfield, looks to move it forward. Also found himself in good attacking positions. Possession given away to France. They do seem a little limited, don't they, Cedric? When moving forward, there aren't too many options to pass to.
Well, basically what's happening is that when the midfielders are coming up, but the strikers aren't fast enough creating the space. That's what's happening. The space is not being created by the strikers to receive the ball. They're creating space, but not enough to receive the ball, because of the Argentine defense are going man-to-man and not giving them that space. So the leads have to be a little quicker and a little longer.
Not surprisingly, Argentina seeing a lot more of the ball, 57% possession in the opposition half, but quite even otherwise in terms of circle penetrations. And also just the solitary shot on target which came from Argentina. Maybe they'll have a second here. Oh, this is a great chance. Nicely saved. He was off balance almost and did extremely well to get his foot to it. Goalkeeper Renault.
But a great movement by the Argentines, and coming into the circle, and the goalkeeper, splendid save, and he was off balance completely.
Once again heightening the good movement from Argentina.
And if you look at it again, it was a great movement down the flank. They stretched the French defense. A great minus pass or a back pass, and the goalkeeper moving to his left, stuck his foot out and got the ball on the right hand side, out of deflection, out of the circle.
Certainly the deadly combination of Sacchetti and Martinez, one to look out for. And with Coelho in there as well, the three of them can weave a lot of magic for these Argentinians. But the French defense and their goalkeeper in particular have been quite outstanding thus far. They know the importance of this match following their defeat at the hands of Australia rather. If they lose against France, then that is that as far as qualification for the semi-finals is concerned. Bumping tackle, and for that he will get a card. Nope, in fact getting away, and this time moving forward. Still some anxious moments for the French defense, but this one is squirted just a little wide.
Well, you know, if you look at it, the tension was good to try and hit the first time pass, but the ball was way out of the sideline. No chance of a deflection at all.
So just about approaching the midway point of this first half. And there have been a few half chances for both teams. Definitely the better opportunities being created by Argentina, but no goals as yet at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. Another bustling run coming in from Hugo Justene. It's been picked up by Guillaume Deron, the captain. With French possession, Samson.
The way Argentina is making it difficult for the French is the fact that they're spreading the game much more than what the French are doing. The French are going to go through the center.
Just getting a bit too close and also very, very physical with his attentions, and that's why the green card going in for Ibarra.
But again, it was the lanky keeper from France who pushes the ball right across from the center, and unfortunately for the Argentine defender Perez, he gets it on his foot and a penalty corner for France. The first of its kind. Hopefully they will score.
Well, two men poised over it, number 10 Victor Lockwood as well as Hugo Gestene. This was one mode of scoring they didn't employ against Spain. So if they do score here, it will be a first for France, but it will be an apt reward for what has been a good disciplined performance from them. You would think it might be Gestene, isn't it? Oh, making a hash of it.
Complete hash of it, you know. In terms of, you know, you got to be direct. The direct route is the best route, especially in the first penalty corner. You know, when you're trying to suss out the defense.
Here's a chance at the other end. It's a great shot. It's a great goal. It's Argentina who find their just reward, and it's Emilio Perez Pesado with a stinging shot, which finds its way through.
Well, there was a penalty corner for France, and they made a hash of it, and a tremendous counter-attack from hit the ball wide. Minus pass to top of the circle, and a clean shot by Perez into the far corner of the goal. You know, you gotta just think about it. Perez just gave a penalty corner the other side, and in a flash he's got a goal for his team there.
Such is the sport of hockey. That is why it is such a pleasure to watch, because of the speed of the game and the unpredictability. 1 minute you could be just the villain of the piece, and the next you could redeem yourself, and in a grand way. So Argentina leading by 1-0, but they must be careful. Spain had a similar scoreline against France, and that was when France came back and scored. This was nearly a similar story coming across. It was a reverse slap which nearly found its mark. Couple of players running across, and Van Straten very close to it. But this was the moment which unlocked it for Argentina.
Well, you know, if you look at it, the French defense are all ball watching and left the top of the circle free. Where was the right midfielder? He's supposed to mark the left midfielder in the circle.
And some great work down the right flank from Lautaro Diaz. Not only did he draw a lot of defenders towards him, but then created a spectacularly good pass. And from there on in, Perez Pesado had only one thing on his mind, and he finished it off quite comfortably too. So 1-0 to Argentina, a position of comfort they didn't enjoy against Australia. Let's see how much they can capitalize on it. Some delightful skills coming in from Martin Broussard. Does well to keep the ball in play, but also gives the ball away. So if only France had actually employed a better penalty corner, then they might have been one up themselves.
Well, they wouldn't have conceded that goal either, because it was a counter-attack that the Argentina scored.
So the first goal comes through with a bit of a mistake and a bit of inspiration. So both coming in, and we cannot really complain, because it's perhaps the best result. Argentina currently on 0 points, leading now by 1-0. France with everything to do. And just as a neutral, but from the perspective of this Pool B, if Argentina do go on to win, then that will just spice things up for the final day tomorrow.
Very much so, because then it's a question of what happens between Australia and France, as well as between Argentina and Spain.
Argentina must be careful here, though. Don't want any clumsiness coming in a situation where they are more or less dominating most of the game. Beautiful long ball, but just a bit too far. Expecting him to be Superman, his teammate.
Well, a nice diagonal pass for about 25-30 yards, but you got this little left defender who's got his little short steps who couldn't make the pass.
Yes, Federico Lionel Monja was the man who was looking hopefully at that ball, but eventually found it quite far ahead. Possession now with France. Can they fight back in this half itself? That will be the perfect recipe for them. Just in a short tournament like this, Cedric, when you win the first game, you give yourself that little cushion in terms of an element of error. If you do drop points in a subsequent game, you still have one more game to catch up.
Very correct, Divine. It also gets an impetus to start, gives you the impetus to start this tournament in a right footing and build it up for their onwards. Yes, it also gives you the leeway to drop a point in the following matches that come up.
They will have it all to do when they take on Australia tomorrow. That's the game at 4 p.m. Before that, at 2 p.m, of course, Argentina versus Spain. And depending on the result here, that could turn out to be either a make or break clash or one which will just influence the final standings. Now this time around, clash of sticks, and the free hit goes Argentina's way. Long ball, nicely received, but Coelho just cannot control it. First touch just a little harder than he would have wanted, and this is France on the attack immediately. It's been played at a brisk pace, and it's been converted into a goal too. The final touch might well have come in from Peter van Straten, but that was a terrific team effort.
A brilliant, absolutely all the way. If you look at it, a shot at goal, it deflects off the Argentine defender, and you have, I think it's Perez, isn't it? Who gets that ball into the goal with a diving, stick, with a stick extended and diving towards the goal. Great opportunism by Van Straten. Great opportunism by him to level the score 1-1.
Second goal of this Hero Hockey Junior World Cup for Peter van Straten. And much like he did against Spain, bringing them back on level terms. It can sometimes be so critical in a match like this. France once again showing that they're not getting cowed down by the scoreline and will only play according to the demands of the situation. Smattering of French supporters on the far side away from us, and they begin their chants in support of their team. And that's truly one of the great things about having a competition like this in a city like Delhi, isn't it, Cedric? A truly global city, so you have fans for every country coming in.
Well, the mystery of India in terms of people wanting to come and see the land, and the culture, the different colors, the different spices, the different smells of India. It's fantastic. So you've got a lot of people coming in to just do sightseeing and tourism.
So this time it's the Frenchmen moving forward yet again. Can they find a second? That will be the ideal way to cap off this eventful first half in this match. Martin Brissak's stick goes for a march, but in the process he also concedes a free hit, which will give the Argentinian defense a little bit of leeway now. The last few minutes they have been under pressure from the French forward line.
Well, the hub of the French attack is the number 7, Iniesta Hugo, who is really the fulcrum of the entire attack, the center midfielder, who's also the flicker, and who has been able to latch up into the attack and support the attack as much as possible. Keep an eye on him.
A Well, almost received by Jeunesse there, but before that, it's picked up by Cecilio. So some work to do once again for the Argentinians. So this long pass effected by Diego Ignacio Paz, distinctive with a heavy bandaged left knee that he's got. Oh, that's not very cleanly blocked, and this could be an opportunity yet again for Argentina, but well done by Renault. Easy for him, but slapping it away quite comfortably. Like a strict parent might to an errant child. Blistering pace about this first half already, end-to-end action. Lots of turnovers, always good to watch for the neutral.
Well, you know, apart from the turnovers, you got to see that both teams are doubling back as soon as they lose the ball and supporting the defense, which is really good because it's a game which both teams trying at full hilt.
One would normally say that you want to leave some gas in the tank for the last few minutes, but this is, of course, the Junior Hockey World Cup. Young players, that's why lots of running, that's why lots of possession being exchanged. Argentina still with the better share of numbers. Not surprising considering they have dominated most of the proceedings. Crucially though, the score is 1-1 and France have made the most of their two shots with one goal to show for it. This time it's hit along across just at the edge of the box, getting into a dangerous position, but it's come off the foot, it seemed. And that is another opportunity now for France. Good hustling from Chalet.
But the ball actually was nearly lost by Kiefer, and he managed to win the ball back and earn his name a penalty corner because the defender from Argentina didn't cover his feet. That's the cardinal rule in defense: protect your feet as much as possible.
Yes, it was that little fullback Monha once again has had his share of woes in this first half already. Doesn't want to be the man responsible for concession of yet another goal, but this is what France do well when they're behind in a game. Show a lot of guts and gumption and come right back into it. At the top of the box, it's Jeunesse, but again it's a penalty corner opportunity which has almost been fluffed, but the final goal has come through. Well, for sure, they won't claim that this was a training ground routine, but what matters is the final outcome, and Ponthieu has put his team 2 ahead against Argentina's 1 goal.
Well, you know, the penalty corner was completely fluffed. The ball went, the halter didn't stop the ball properly. He looked up. The vision was great. He sees Ponthieu coming back to receive the ball, Kiefer coming back to receive the ball, who plays the ball across, and it just flicked across the goalkeeper into the net.
He's absolutely over the moon, and why not? Because Argentina, as we have seen before, have been dominating this first half, but France have the bigger rewards to show for it. Leading now by 2-1. Are they on their way to the quarterfinals? I suppose showing a very important quality in terms of what you need from penalty corners too, is to just make the most of an opportunity. Even if it looks like it's slipping away from your grasp, just stay patient, stay disciplined, and that's what led to that opportunity for Théophile Ponthieu.
Well, it's a great time to get a second goal just before halftime, with 3 minutes on the clock still going on. France are playing a game which is basically holding on and then just playing on the break. And when they play on the break, the support for the midfield is absolutely fantastic.
Well, the goal count has got up to 74, so we will have the silver jubilee soon. A platinum, is it? 75? diamond, is it? Nevertheless, which of these teams will get goal number 75? But the neutral will hope for Argentina, and it must be said they have looked a little better in terms of their possession, but they must make the most of it. This is a delightful run from Coelho, but well defended.
Well, this time there wasn't much ball watching, sorry, and the minus pass, which was to be played back in the same fashion, was caught by the French defense.
You mentioned their height, but they also show good technique, don't they?
Very much so. If you look at it, you look at this. He comes down the flank, comes down the baseline, looking for and then the sweeper, Charlie Victor, takes the ball away. He's had a good game so far, covering up all the loose balls that are coming into the defense.
As provided you can stay supple and you can stay focused, then having a good height is, I suppose, a great advantage, because it also increases your wingspan, your reach in a sense. This one has been hit across the line, but nobody to take advantage of it. It's Argentina who emerge with the ball. Get this off the foot off a Frenchman. So coming into the last minute, close to the last minute. France leading by 2-1. Ponthieu with this conversion. Nearly a mess up, but finally well done.
Well, you know, it was an Argentinian stick which played the ball back to Ponthieu.
So an inadvertent assist, and this time a yellow card has been flashed at Diego Paz. Don't want errors like this coming in, especially when you're trailing.
Definitely, because now you've got the halftime coming up, and you're going to start the game with 10 men.
Well, I will ask you perhaps about the aspect of coaching players who tend to have aggression as a part of their armory, but it can also be their weakness. But we'll have to wait perhaps for the second half, because we are into the final few seconds of the first. It's France who look like they will take a 2-1 advantage into this halftime break, and they'll be quite glad for it. For most of this first half, it's the team in blue who have dominated a bit more. That came in high, and it is not only a yellow card, but it's also been declared a stroke. And France look like they might want to refer it. Let's listen in.
You're saying the player behind is not diving. Okay, great. Bruce, can you hear me? Yeah, well, I can hear you. Okay, I said that the defender has taken the ball above his shoulder. The French are saying that the attacker was not 5 meters. Could you check that for me, please?
Okay, confirming, checking if the player was 5 meters away from him or not.
Yeah, please. Yeah, thank you.
So France reckoning the attacking player wasn't within the stipulated 5 meters. Looks all right.
A very close call for the 5 meters.
Man in the hot seat is Bruce Bale, the video umpire.
Paul, can you hear me?
Yeah, Bruce, I can hear you.
There is no clear reason to change your decision. The penalty stroke, France lose their referral.
Okay, thank you.
The decision stands. And the green light at the top of the screen will just turn red to indicate that France have lost their referral. And what a time here for Argentina to take possibly a break, an equalizer into the break.
With 4 seconds to go, an aerial ball from the Argentina all the way into the circle, and a big blunder by the French defender.
The This one for 2-2, and he doesn't make a mistake at all. An easy conversion for the captain, Gonzalo Pela, and that is probably the right result in terms of what scoreline they should be taking into the half-time break. He guessed right, but it was hit very hard.
Yes, he guessed really right, and he moved very well. The goalkeeper really moved well because he sidestepped well enough. But a great flick, and just passes him with the power, sheer power.
So it's been a first half which has had everything. Lots and lots of action, lots and lots of good field play. Some fluency shown by the Argentinians, but France have shown a lot of determination right through. And apart from a small blemish right at the end, conceding a penalty stroke, which was happily converted by Gonzalo Pela, the captain of the Argentinian team, which means that in this winner-takes-all match, especially for the Argentinians who desperately need to win it, they've given themselves a bit of a lifeline, bringing it back to level terms just on the stroke of half-time. So with the first 35 minutes, the scoreline at Delhi is Argentina 2, France 2. Arguing.
Got a yellow card for France. Huh?
Was it France or was it Argentina?
What about yellow cards? 4 seconds to go, they conceded. Match in this game, I can't tell you.
Can't give An engrossing Pool B encounter at the Major Dhyanchand National Stadium. Argentina taking the lead first, but then France striking back with 2 goals inside 6 minutes. And just on the stroke of half-time, a penalty stroke conversion from Gonzalo Pela, the captain of Argentina, also bringing up 75 goals for this FIH Hero Hockey Junior World Cup. Was an eventful first half, that's for sure. Argentina with the better of the chances early on, and also some fluent play. One of those moves leading to the first goal. Some great movement down the right from Diaz, and as soon as he turned it back, finding himself with some space, and no mistake made by Perez Pesado to give his team the lead. But then that also awoke the French machinery. They got some moves going of their own, and this was a very, very good opportunistic strike from Peter van Straten. Hard work coming in from the midfield, who scrapped and fought for that ball, and eventually it was finished off quite nicely. Then this penalty corner, which looked like it might have been a missed opportunity, but a great strike in the end. Good opportunism yet again from Théophile Pontiu, and Argentina would have been quite disappointed with the way that that came about. But this was the lifeline they got right at the end. A penalty stroke awarded. It was also referred, which France lost. As a result, they have lost their right to refer any further, and an easy conversion for Pela. Although it must be said, Edgar Renaud, who has had a good first half, guessed right but just couldn't get it to it on time. But even in terms of numbers, 51% against 49%, 10 circle penetrations against 7, 4 shots against 3, and 2 goals against 2, and a card apiece in terms of yellow as well as green for both teams. We can tell you that you can connect with us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. We are at FI Hockey, and on Twitter we are at FIH_hockey. And make sure you hashtag whatever you write to us with HJWC to tell us what you think about this Hero Hockey Junior World Cup. Don't forget also that the World League Women's final is just around the corner. In fact, early tomorrow morning in Indian time, it will be at 5:30 in the morning. So pretty much midnight GMT. And for those of you watching in Australia, your team will be in action in the final at 11 a.m. local time in the morning. But for the moment, Australia have already done the job earlier, and Argentina are taking on France. I'm in the commentary box. I'm Divine Sen. Alongside me is Cedric D'Souza, and Cedric, makes for a fascinating second 35 minutes, doesn't it?
Well, definitely, because both teams are going to come out with a winner. You know, France wins this match and they already qualified for the quarterfinals, whereas the Argentinians know that they have to win it at any cost. If they draw this match, then it opens up all sorts of permutations and combinations again.
Still a couple of interesting encounters to come today. It'll be South Africa against Malaysia next, and that will be followed by a critical encounter. England and New Zealand, both having lost their opening encounters, will have absolutely no mistake, no scope for mistakes in their final match of today. But for the moment, it's a nice sporting crowd, and they will be looking forward to these next 35 minutes. Australian fans quite pleased about the way today has gone, and lots of fancy headgear as well for most of those who've gathered at the Major Dhyanchand National Stadium, where dusk is slowly setting in. The lights are beginning to take effect, and under the spotlight are the two teams, Argentina and France. There's the tricolour and lots of colour around generally at the stadium. But France will take a lot of heart from the way they performed in that first half. Every time they were down, they came back, and that is pretty much the way that they must approach the early moments.
Well, the same thing happened in their first match against Spain. They were down and then they came back and won that match. And the same thing here, they were down a goal and then they came back and scored 2. But unfortunately, in the last 4 seconds of the game, they conceded a penalty stroke and then allowed Pela to put in and equalize.
A couple of players, one from each side, still sitting out in the sin bin as a result of their transgressions in the closing moments of the first half. So it will be an equal contest in every sense to begin with.
When you're playing 10 versus 10, the down list leaves a little bit more open, and hopefully we'll see a little more open game in the next, at least next 5 minutes, because both players are out.
Outstanding atmosphere thanks to just a clutch of fans, but they have really made their presence felt at the National Stadium thus far. So all set to get things moving. Eric Kim Lai Ko of Malaysia on screen. He and Paul Walker have had a few crucial moments, but they've dealt with them quite nicely.
France is doing, they're playing with a sweeper. Although they're playing with 10 men, they're still playing with a sweeper. They know that the Argentine forwards are very dangerous on the break, so they have got an extra man in defense, whereas the RGs have got an extra man in attack.
Argentina this time will be going from right to left in blue, and up against them in white are France, defending their goal on the left. France running out victors in their opening match against Spain, so they have that little extra cushion. They can afford, if worst comes to worst, to draw and even to lose perhaps this match, but from Argentina's perspective, it's a must-win encounter, and that's why they must fight back and try and reclaim the lead which they had at one stage in this game. This is Trezza down the left flank. Argentina haven't really allowed France to have a whiff of the ball in these early few seconds. And they've got a number of shots in there. It's another great save from Renault, but it's a penalty corner coming off his own defender, hitting the leg of Baumgarten, and this will bring in the captain Gonzalo Pela into the action.
Well, we all know about the skills and prowess of Gonzalo Pela. Well, let's get back to the penalty corner, how it is played. Goalkeeper made a great save, and then he cleared the ball onto the foot of Baumgarten, and then a penalty corner.
Already one successful conversion in this Hero Junior World Cup. That was against Australia, although by then the boat had pretty much sailed in terms of a result in the match. But over here, the game is very much alive and kicking, and that's why Gonzalo Pela will be fancying his chances. Those stats bear them out. The first PC that they have. Can the Albiceleste take full toll? The injection is a good one. The shot is too, but it's an outstanding save by Renault, who's been one of the great performers for France today. This has been a good bright start, these early couple of moments. Argentina doing all the running, looking like a team which desperately needs to win. And that's being reflected in the attitude that they're showing early on. The captain drilled it in quite hard, but just couldn't find the mark on that occasion.
But one of the reasons why he didn't find the mark was the fact that the push-out was bad. He had to make adjustments because the ball was played outside the circle and not on the stopper itself. He had to make a massive adjustment, and he just flicked hard and true towards the post. But a great save by Renault.
This time moving forward, it's Lockwood. Had some players for support. And this was that previous penalty corner that Cedric was talking about, the injection.
See, the ball injection is played right outside. And a great save by Renault because it was going deep in the corner. But it had to be a major adjustment for Pela, you know.
We have already seen a few teams taking full toll of the PCs that they get. Certainly an invaluable conversion last night for the Indians.
But Gurjinder's goal was a real lifesaver because they were 2-2 down, and the score was 2-2, and then it was the last minute, I think, when he got that final goal, and India squeezed through Canada 3-2. Set play is such an important part in the game of hockey today, and most teams have, most of the European teams have got very, very strong set plays.
And if you hint just a touch of partisan partiality in the comments of Cedric D'Souza, you can excuse him because he spent considerable time coaching the Indian team, the senior boys, and once an Indian coach, always an Indian coach, I suppose.
Well, I'm Indian at heart always.
We will still have that critical encounter against Korea. That's on Tuesday, the last day of competition in the pool matches. After that, there is an off day followed by the knockout games. And the Indian supporters in particular will desperately be hoping that India are pretty much in the business end of the competition. For the moment, it's Argentina who are looking for a lifeline. wobbly moments for the Argentinian defense, but eventually well tackled by Trezza. All the way back to the skipper. Just shows a lot of composure, 21 years of age, but a real leader, isn't he, Pela?
Well, you know, he's been playing for the Indian team, sorry, for the Argentine national team. So he come back to India by mistake. He's been playing for the national team and he's scoring consistently for them at the senior level. So, you know, he has to be composed, otherwise he won't be in the team there. He's really good, a really good player, a youngster with a lot of heart, with a lot of power in him, and of course the drag flick, which is his forte.
Another good player is Sacheti, and he was the one who did outstandingly well to win that free hit for his team. Was off balance, was second best to get to the ball, but scrambling away, one-handed attempt to get the ball moving, and now that's allowed Argentina to retain possession. They have this free hit in a useful position. Once again, just at the edge of the box, good work from Sacheti. Tireless worker for the Argentinians.
Tireless and with incredible skill and strength on the ball. He's been able to break through many a time, but there have been too many French sticks coming at him. But still, he's still been strong on the ball, you know.
Well, this ball has been given away. It's a great opportunity for France now to pull ahead. A good stout defending. And yet again, it's Sacheti getting this ball back, looking for it back, but Martinez can't quite find him. This game is definitely opening up. Lots of spaces in midfield to exploit. Here comes Fernandez, forced to turn back. All the way down to Trezza, down the left flank. Well stolen. Frenchman looking to move forward yet again. The Argentinians come in good numbers and try and snuff out the attack.
Well, you know, if you look at the pattern of the first half and now what's happening in the second half in the first 8 minutes, you'll find that there's been parts of the game where there's been tremendous pace by both teams, and then there's been times where there's been a bit scrappy, and but still you're finding it at this moment. You're finding a pace lifted up slightly by both teams.
Cedric did mention the pedigree of this Argentinian team, especially at this level. Champions in 2005 when the Junior Hockey World Cup was played in Rotterdam, beating Australia 2-1 in the finals. And also made the final 4 years before. That was in Hobart, and a famous 6-1 victory for India. But nevertheless, in recent years, they have had a good record in this competition and will not want to bow out at this early stage yet. That's what makes for a very, very fascinating Pool B. And remember also the teams which finish second in this Pool B, or indeed the team which finishes first, has a pretty big task ahead of it, facing the first and the second teams from Pool A, the pool which has the defending champions Germany and a very, very rapidly improving Belgian side. This time around, the Argentinians winning possession, but forced to build back because France have all men in defense.
All men in defense, as well as being man-to-man marking, if you look at it, with no space in the center. To the center channel has been blocked very well by Victor Charlet. They had a good game as people from France.
Given away once again, and Argentina cannot retain possession long enough to cause a botheration, but they win it back. Trezza, who's been working very hard in the early moments of the second half. This time just a bit too hard.
Well, he tried to start the game as quickly as possible, but the ball was about 5 or 6 meters from the actual point of where the impact, where the impingement had occurred.
And again, a useful position for the Argentinians. That's why the French bench is looking just a little anxious at the moment. They've certainly begun the second half well, getting into dangerous positions, but it eventually goes in favor of France. Is it fair to say, looking at the way Argentina play, that there's a little bit more of an emphasis on individual skill, somewhat like the subcontinent, than on organization?
Yes, I think that's true. They basically play the entire game on a counter-attack. They play a very rigid defense and they play on the counter-attack and play on the break. And that's what, and their strikers have the capacity to, with skill as well as strength and speed, to break through defenses and to take through defenses on a one-to-one situation. You see that many of the Argentine strikers are very good in the one-to-one situations.
That's integration at its best in sport. Some Indian fans wonder if they're rooting for France. Well, France had this opportunity, but that was nicely done by Thomas Rearte. Beg your pardon, Santiago is the goalkeeper.
No, I didn't. The ball come down here. I didn't see it. I'm watching.
Lots of needle just near the Argentinian goal mouth. Looking to send this one in. Could have been dangerous. The Argentinian defense needs to be stout, and that's exactly what they are. Cedric, just remembered a question I was thinking of asking you in the closing minutes of the first half. You as coach, if you have a player who's naturally a very aggressive character, it must be a challenge to channelize it in the right direction, because sometimes that anger can also get the better of him.
I think there's a difference between anger and aggression. Aggression is one thing which you can use on the pitch, but there also has to be the composure within the aggression itself. Know when to be aggressive and know when to compose yourself. You've got many of the Germans who play an aggressive game, but they're very composed in what they do also. So, you know, just being aggressive in terms of anger management, that you got to have, you got to send up for anger management classes basically. But in logically speaking, most players have a cool temperament. You have an exception to the rule also. But apart from that, then you got to just, you know, substitute the player as much as possible and talk to him and get him to cool down.
This has been very sweetly picked up by the Frenchmen. They are moving forward in good numbers. It's a 3-on-3 situation. Argentina are falling back. Well, the goalkeeper's out of position. It's into the goal. Outstanding effort. That is a sweet strike. And France have pulled ahead once again thanks to a super strike from Jean-Laurent Kiefer.
I think this whole game was because of the ball was playing on the overlap ball of the right defender coming up, playing this ball inside. He gets the ball to Kiefer, and the goalkeeper comes out to smother the angle. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Improvisation. Just chips the ball over the keeper and over the defense and into the net. Absolute brilliant goal. One of the best goals in the tournament so far.
Toying with the two defenders, and that's sheer joy for Gaël Follard and the rest of the French bench, because this has given them again that little bit of a cushion. 3-2 ahead now with just a little over 21 minutes to go.
Well, Divine, you know, if you look at it, it's the most important was that the ball was played wide and stretched in Argentine defense completely. The defense was playing in the center, the ball has been played in the center, and then the ball was switched wide to an overlapping right defender. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Copybook hockey.
One thing's for sure, don't take the French lightly in this competition. Time and again they show that when the scoreboard just falls a little bit behind or at par, then they have that ability to pull ahead. Magnificent reserves of mental strength that this young team has. Looking to come forward again. Will win a free hit. The important thing, I suppose, Cedric, still is that from Argentina's perspective, it's only 2-3 and there's still 20 minutes to go. So every chance of coming back.
Well, a body block in the 25-yard line. When they, I think it was unnecessary because there were so many other defenders standing there in defense. A bit of a push and a body block and a penalty corner. There's not been penalty corner given against Argentina.
Well, we were talking just a little while ago, weren't we, about tempering your aggression, and this is where sometimes Argentinian teams in the past have been known to get a little bit over-aggressive when situations are tense, and that leads to careless mistakes. This is one such which has given a chance to France. They have already scored one through a penalty corner, but it wasn't the cleanest of traps. Let's see if this time they can execute it a little bit better. And the shot came in from Jeuneste. Well done by Santiago. Oh, that was absolutely smashed in. Lots of bodies getting in the way. So a few anxious moments for the Argentinians, and it's still not over yet. Still got a long corner. So the pressure's not off yet. If France can score one more here, then it could really be trouble stations for the Argentinians, who somehow survived this onslaught.
Well, you look at this aerial ball coming on top of the circle and a lovely hit. It was actually all goal bound. The penalty corner was straight into the goalkeeper's pads, and he did well to block it and shove the ball away with his hand.
Here's another opportunity, getting very, very close, but just slapped it to the right side of goal, and unfortunately his strikers were actually making a diagonal run across. So they were way away from where the ball would have been. This is a bright bit of play from France. Not only have they found that third goal, but suddenly they have put the pressure right back on the Argentinians. Interesting game in terms of the ebb and flow of it.
Well, when you're a goal up, you feel you got the wind in your sails again, and you try to increase that lead a little bit more. So far, so good for France. They're playing very well.
Now some urgency into proceedings from the Argentinians. Not that it hasn't been lacking. Must be remembered, they started the second half quite smartly, but Kiefer has really given his team a huge advantage. Superb balance, superb composure. Possibly the goal of the day. Back with French possession. Peters Tours. Long ball in, comes off a deflection from Cecilio.
Argentina needs to regroup. They seem to be in 6th and 7th at the moment. That was good defending by Pella.
Good examination of this young Argentinian side. It's a great chance. It's another outstanding save from Edgar Renault. It fell quite favorably. I think it might have been Martinez, but it was a really, really good save from Renault. On a few occasions it's come straight to him, but this time he had to move across and make sure he kept a stable base. Not out of the woods yet, the French defense. Good end-to-end action at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. He has really been good, hasn't he, Edgar Renault?
He's been absolutely superb in the goal. If you look at it, there was a great movement by the Argies, and there are two people free in the circle, and Renault did a great job with his Argentine reverse tomahawk hit. into the goal, which he actually had moved out to smother the angle and to close down the angle. Great save by Renault.
It's not only the stop, but also getting it away from the line of Diaz, who was following up. Tomahawk coming in from Martinez, who has been a constant threat all evening long, but hasn't scored as yet for Argentina. In fact, that's been perhaps the missing link. They haven't been able to convert their chances when they've got that in the forward line. And full credit for that, of course, must go to the French goalkeeper. In the meantime, a green card, which will mean Argentina will temporarily be down. Fernandez Onega just got the green card. So it must be said, Cedric, France doing the things better, but Argentina still looking very, very lively. Just a very bad time to have conceded the green card, though.
At the cost of being repetitive, I think Argentina plays on the break, and they've got to be very careful when Argentina comes on the break, because they are dangerous in the circle. They convert half chances. That was a great shot, but a great save also, you know.
This was the action for which Sacchetti has been able to pick up the ball, and he's moving forward quite nicely. He's been bundled down.
Well, he's been carrying the ball, but he's keeping his body between the ball and the player, so it's a foul. He's shielding with his body, not allowing the other players to tackle. That's a clean foul. Although he fell and made a bit of a show about it, no way the umpires are going to fall for that one.
There is Sacchetti. He's done most things excellently this time around, though. The only thing really good about that was the camera work. So Argentina with it all to do. Remember, if the scoreline stays this way, then they're headed out in terms of contention for a quarter-final spot. France will join Australia in the last 8.
Nice to see that the umpires are talking among themselves and and finding the correct decisions being taken. Like to see the Korean umpire acknowledge the fact that he got help from his counterpart.
Moving forward once again, it's Martin Brisac. Has been a slightly subdued presence in the second half, but what a delightful run, and yet again a good bit of keeping, but the whistle had already been blown. This was the run from Martin Brisac.
Oh, a nice run again, and he did exactly what his counterpart did initially, but a great save by the keeper. Santiago waited his time, and then just jumped up in the air and pumped the ball away for safety.
Been a great performance from both goaltenders, Edgar Renault for France and Tomas Matthias Santiago for Argentina. That was clattered into the ankle area of Chastene. Not surprisingly, it has been a game where both teams have shown a lot of commitment, and from time to time that has led to a few fouls. Nothing with any malice, which has been good to see. You want the youngsters to learn how to play hard but play fair.
But I think no teams in the world plays a game deliberately with malice or to hurt someone else. It happens in the game. It just happens sometimes. But that's all, just as I say, it's part and parcel of a contact sport like hockey.
This free hit won by Argentina. Time slowly running out for them. Just a little over 11 minutes left to not only keep this their own goal safe, but also to pump in two. Even a draw actually will do in terms of keeping them alive in this competition. But then they'll be dependent on Australia beating France tomorrow, and then they themselves beating Spain. There's something on offer for each team, remember. Even if they don't make it to the quarterfinals, there'll still be standings matches to be played, right all the way to the 16th position. Matches to decide where they land up. But yes, what everybody's aiming for is the top four, because once you're in the semi-finals, Cedric, in a competition like this, anything can happen on the day.
Well, I've always said that if you win a semi-final, you are guaranteed of a medal, whereas if you lose a semi-final, you will go back empty-handed.
Thus far, pretty much every past champion is more or less in the contest. Germany lost their opening encounter, but have since then come back quite nicely. Pakistan in a spot of bother, but they have that victory in the first match. This was the previous bit of action. Australia look pretty much like they are going through to the quarterfinals. India still very much in it. And Argentina, the fifth of the teams to have played this championship before and won. Desperately needing at least a goal to keep their hopes alive. Wondering if the FX mics can pick up Alele Blue, because even though the numbers this time around are a little bit better for France, they have definitely dominated in terms of the score line. But all other numbers indicating that it's been every bit as close as anything. Look at that, 7 shots to 7 for both teams. Moving forward now, once again, it is Martin Brissac. Oh, just couldn't quite trap it as well as he would have hoped.
What a great movement by the three strikers. Martin Brissac thinking, being provider this time. And just missed the deflection was missed by the striker.
Action at the other end, in fact getting very close to the goal line, but yet again Renault standing tall, standing firm.
Well, they got very close to the keeper, and he got them into his net. Basically, a keeper's net is when you get close enough to him, and he smothered the angle and smothered the player, smothered the ball with his body. Look at it here. He comes forward. There he is, completely smothering the, with his body.
If France can hold on to this scoreline, then they will owe a lot of gratitude to their goalkeeper. Edgar Renault has been quite outstanding today. We saw just a while ago 7 shots coming in from the Argentinians, but to keep them down to 2 goals means that he's effected at least 5 saves. Argentina needs some inspiration, don't they, Cedric? A little over 7 minutes to go. What can they do? They need to throw more men forward, I suppose.
They've already done it. We look at it. They've got more people in front. They've got 3 or 4 strikers in front now. They know that it's a do-or-die situation. They've got to push up people in attack. Let the midfielders come more into attack.
It's from here on in, it is pretty much a knockout match. It's not much of a difference losing by 3 goals to 2. And 4-2 or even 5-2, so they might as well throw as many men forward as possible. In fact, a couple of times in this Hero Junior World Cup, we've already seen goalkeepers being substituted by outfield players in the last moments.
Well, you know, they've got Pellas who can sweep that ball really hard. If they get a ball somewhere in between in the last third of the pitch, one of his sweeps can go for a deflection, like India scored against Canada yesterday.
It's into just the third day of competition, but already some really dramatic games, some amazing finishes. One of them certainly last night between India and Canada. And over here, France have shown a lot of gumption, a lot of resolve in difficult situations to come back and score. And I'm afraid if the scoreline does stay this way, then Argentina will be heading out of this competition in terms of contention for the quarterfinals. It's just a fantastic atmosphere, isn't it, Cedric? The supporters singing Allez les Bleus.
Oh my God.
Well, this is Argentina's moment if they can do something with it. Martinez with possession, but the French defense just holding firm. Good bit of work from Peters Dutz.
Well, the French defense actually ball watching and allowing the Argentine player to be alone in the defense there. He tried to find a foot, but the French defense were up to the mark.
Now getting a little overeager to run with the ball.
Well, they know there's only 5 minutes left, almost 5 minutes left, so they're...
Oh, there's that slap that you were talking about.
Well, you know, you've got this Pellat who's a lethal hits and lethal sweeps. So why don't you allow him to get you know, to smash the ball into the circle, and because this is what they're doing basically. They've tried to get through from, you know, by rotating the ball, and
that was close again, but Edgar Renault, quick on his feet, very quick to get up and recover his composure. And now it's a chance for France for a counter-attack. Can they put this issue beyond doubt? It's 4-on-2. Well, that's gone straight to Trezza. Can Argentina recover and launch a counter-offensive of their own quickly? Back to the skipper, Pela. Sweeps this one through. Oh, that's a great chance. Sacheti has done most things beautifully this evening. Just couldn't finish this off.
Well, the ball actually rose off the turf. If you look at it, and it just bobbed up before he went for the dive in deflection.
Happened at a magnificent pace. The initial pass coming in from Pela, and then Martinez helping it along. What can they conjure up? Even a goal will just give them that little bit of a lifeline. But here come France. It's a superb run coming in from Martin Brissac. And he's the intended recipient of this. Santiago does well. There is a player down, but it's deemed to be a fair tackle. And fair play to Baumgarten, very quickly getting up off his feet. But that's not the side of the pitch Argentina want to see the ball in.
Well, a great movement by France here. He switched the game to the center. Of course, again, a great save by the keeper, Santiago.
Tale of two keepers, but that's his last action for the night. So with less than 3 minutes to go, Argentina are going to have 11 outfield players. Caps off a good evening, even though he has conceded 3 goals, but has made a few outstanding saves and quick decisions. Well, Argentina pretty much going for broke here.
Again, a near miss, you know, Pellat coming up front now and playing these penetrative passes into, and again, I think it was Martinez who missed that ball. It was, again, the ball rose up just off the turf.
Well, when they think back, when they watch the replay of this match, they will look at the number of chances they've created. On a few occasions, of course, they have been denied by some outstanding goalkeeping from Edgar Renault. But on some chances, their forwards have been to blame, but just lacking that finishing finesse. That could very much cost them a place in the quarterfinals. That looks like it's slipping away with each passing second. Nevertheless,
Here comes Pele with his long drive coming in now.
As they can do with every help they can get. It is slapped across, but no danger inflicted upon the Frenchman. The cheers get louder and louder. They can smell it. It'll be a place in the quarterfinals, and it'll be a winner-takes-all encounter against Australia tomorrow at 4 p.m. Down to the last minute now. Bad time to give away possession. France will be forgiven for taking their time over this, but they will savor this victory when it comes to them. Went down 1-0, also faced that penalty stroke conversion on the stroke of half-time, but they've shown amazing amount of gumption and the will to survive, the will to win. That has stood them in good stead. Comes off the elbow of the Frenchman. High ball, and that leads to a free hit in a very useful position. Also an opportunity to run down the clock further. What a great performance, Cedric, from France.
Well, I'd say a great performance with both teams, you know. You look at it, and France had converted the chances that they were basically.
There's the final hooter, as properly put by Cedric. A great game for the neutral. Unfortunately, though, this means it's the end of all quarterfinal hopes for the Argentinians. But France are through, as are Australia. And the fans in the tricolour are very, very pleased with how their team have shown that resolve. Went down by a goal. And after that, also faced a penalty stroke conversion, which took the score to 2-2. But Edgar Renau in goal was absolutely outstanding. And that's why the Argentinian fans will unfortunately go home empty-handed in terms of the silverware in this Hero Hockey Junior World Cup. The final score at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium, it's Argentina 2, France 3. Some scenes of joy, some scenes of a little bit of disappointment, but good to see. Clapping for the boys who put up a fair fight today. And that was pretty much the story of this entire game, right from the first minute. Some tears, unfortunately, in Delhi too. This was Edgar Renau at his best in the second half. Excellent performance from him, but the moment that changed it all. Picked up by Van Streeten, and this was a superb goal from Kiefer. Keeping his composure, and in the end just trickling through, but placing it beautifully. At least that's what he'll be telling his teammates. But a very, very good bit of finishing in terms of how important that strike was too. After that, not surprising, Argentina with a row of attacks, but Edgar Renau was unmovable. Absolutely strong in terms of his goalkeeping. Was a reverse hit from Martinez, who had a great game actually, but just couldn't finish off. And this was another opportunity for the Frenchman, and denied by some good decisive goalkeeping from Santiago. And right at the end, could have been a chance, but Martinez just unable to get at the edge of a shot coming in from Pela. The numbers will bear out how close it was. Look at that, 50% possession in opponent half for both teams, 19 circle penetrations to 16, 8 shots to 7. And France with 3 goals to 2, winning the day and also winning a position in the quarterfinals, along with Australia from Pool B of the Hero Hockey Junior World Cup Men 2013 in New Delhi. Just to remind you, you can contact with us on Facebook. We are at FIH Hockey, and we are also on Twitter at FIH_hockey. Do tweet with hashtag HJWC, and you can also connect with us on Instagram, where we are also at FIH Hockey. moment, some moments of celebration for France, who have made it through to the quarterfinals. Some great moments for the Frenchmen through to the quarterfinals, and well done. Their fans cock a hoop as well. The boys letting their hair down, Cedric, always good to see.
Well, you know, they deserve to be with us this time.
Well, we have everything in readiness for the post-match presentation. Let's go down to Charlie Broom.
Yeah, welcome to the hero player of the match ceremony. I'm delighted to say that Kelly Fairweather, the CEO of the FIH, has joined me, and he's going to give it to the French keeper, Arnaud Edgar. Arnaud, congratulations. Kelly, if you could do the honours, please.
Thank you.
Arnaud, if I may, a couple of questions. How was that for you?
For me, it's a very good victoire for quarter-final.
And France have qualified for the quarter-final. You can see the team are very happy.
Yes.
What does it mean for French hockey?
It's very good. It's very good. Yes.
And you have one more match to play against Australia. What are you expecting from them? A hard game?
Yes, it's a hard game for the first place.
Well, listen, Arnaud, well played today. Congratulations on your player of the match.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yes, had it not been for Renault, it might have been a different story today. As it turned out, the Frenchmen celebrating because they have put this one across the Argentinians and done exceedingly well. So Pool B has pretty much been decided in terms of the quarterfinal places, but there will still be the small matter of seeing who tops it eventually. Australia and France are through. Look at that. 6 points apiece, 2 victories apiece for Australia and France. Australia currently ahead on goal difference, but that's the next match between the two of them. Australia versus France will be tomorrow, and Argentina will be taking on Spain to decide who finishes third and has a little bit more of an advantage in terms of the classification matches in this Hero Junior World Cup. And of course, what also awaits them is a date for the top two teams. Australia or France will be facing the top two teams from Pool A. So this is how it finishes. In just a short while, we will have a Pool D encounter between South Africa and Malaysia. And that could also see one of the two teams just getting to their place in the quarterfinals. For the moment, it's the French celebrations, the final pictures from Delhi in the Hero Hockey Junior World Cup.